Ekabhumi Charles Ellik is an award-winning poet, author, illustrator, yoga instructor, and arts educator with 20 years of international teaching experience. Specialized in sacred art, Eka has been taught by traditional artists in India, Nepal, and California. He is core faculty at Living Sanskrit and co-founder of Mystic Art Retreats. Hi everyone, I'm Santhosh Kana. A warm welcome to you once again. On my YouTube channel, we are going to have a very inspiring episode today in conversation with a visionary sacred artist, Ekabhumi Charles Ellik. On behalf of all my viewers, let me welcome Ellik to my YouTube channel.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It's an honor to have a conversation with such an amazing personality, person whose spiritual practices, his inspiring journey has been beautifully woven into his creative art. That's what we are going to discover today in our conversation. Ellik, to start with, I would like to ask you, what according to you is sacred art?
This is a great question, and I occasionally get people who push back against the idea of sacred art entirely, that all art is sacred, or none of it is sacred. For me, it's about the function, and I believe that sacred art is functional. It's distinct from Western European art, that it's just inspiring or just ornamental or it's just expressive. Sacred art, to me, as I boiled it down over years, the most fundamental function of sacred art is to expand awareness, to expand consciousness. And I believe that, especially within the Sanatana Dharma traditions, sacred art serves as a way of inspiring us to be filled with wonder at this world of appearances. So it expands our awareness. It helps to shake us out of a sort of materialistic mindset, that there's more to life than just a specific task. And so specifically, sacred art is distinctive from, say, commercial art, in that it helps to remind us that we are part of something much larger than our own personal individual experience.
Oh, that's beautiful. So with this, I would like to once again ask, what kind of spiritual practices and related to sacred art and the sadhanas and practices that you have done, or is it just like any other painting or artwork? Yeah.
I mean, you can mechanically copy an ancient icon. You can mechanically copy the work of some other artist. You can mechanically copy the grids and lines of, say, Buddhist tantric art, Vajrayana Buddhist art, where they've got their grids and their lines. But really, for it to be filled with life, for it to function as intended, as in designed, it needs to be filled with your devotion. It needs to be filled with your own inspiration. It's like you can build a car, but you need to put gas in it. You know, it needs a driver too. The driver is the deity, but you as the artist really need to make that vehicle functional for the deity to do their work in the world. So what is distinctive in sacred art, in my opinion, and according to the artists that I've met that I feel are truly accomplished, is that sacred art is like the fruit of the tree of Dharma. Oh. It has in it the seed of inspiration, so when people see it, they feel inspired. But for the artist, they are the blooming of that Dharma into the world of appearances. They make the fruit that carries that seed. So for us as sacred artists, it is the fruit of our sadhana. It is not the sadhana itself that produces the sacred art, in my opinion. You have to do the work first. You need to do the practices first. You have to have a sense of relationship with the deity first, and then the art is like the evidence of that. Or like I like to say, you know, like when there's an earthquake, there's a Richter scale, and the Richter scale is like, it's drawing on a piece of paper, and it's like the evidence that something happened. To me, sacred art is the evidence that the artist had an experience with the divine, that the artist has an experience with this form of the divine, that this artist has an experience with this deity. And I've told people before, I can't draw the portrait of somebody I haven't met.
Yeah.
So whether you're going to a temple or you're listening to the music or you're saying your prayers or you've been initiated into a specific lineage, the art, the true art, the functional art, the art that really has that transmission power, that comes as the fruit of your spiritual practice.
Okay.
It can inspire it, but if you're going to make it, I feel like you need to do your sadhana first.
So you mean to say that the technicalities are less important? Are they
Absolutely, absolutely. I would much rather look at so-called primitive tribal art that has a lot of spirit to it than technically perfect art done with all the rules of Shastra made by a computer. It's lifeless. I've seen Buddhist art and Tamil art that people have programmed into computers, and it has no life, it has no bhav, it has no juice. Whereas you can look at a piece made by a child, and it can fill your heart with wonder. So it's that juice, that rasa, the fruit of devotion, that's most important. The technical stuff just helps to ensure precise outcome. When you dial your phone, you want to make sure you get the correct person on the other end of the call. That's why you make sure the numbers are correct. So it's the same thing. If you're making a work of art, you want the precision to make sure that you get the desired outcome. It doesn't guarantee it.
Yeah.
It just helps to ensure a more likely outcome. So the less precise the art, the less well made it's made, the less technically proficient it is. It doesn't mean that it's less efficacious.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that it's less reliably producing the results that you wish.
Okay. So what is a sacred art mainly intended to evoke in the mind of a viewer, someone who looks at the art? What is the primary objective? Like this should evoke this kind of feeling. Is it bhakti that?
Well, I think for people who know what bhakti is, which basically means devotional love, right? It is that juicy spirit of faith and devotion. For people who don't know the word itself. No. But I think that we need to make it really clear. We talked about this earlier. Yeah. The sacred art functions on many different levels simultaneously. Yeah. It can function as a ritual object. It can function as personal expression out of your love. It can function as a cultural container. You know, people identify with it culturally, even if they don't necessarily believe in the spiritual practices. It can serve as a therapeutic modality. Coloring can give many of the same benefits physically and psychologically as meditation. And it can serve also as the basis of spiritual practices like dhyana, like visualizing the deity. It helps us to recognize the deity when the deity shows up. Right? It gives us a mental architecture for interacting with that particular channel of divinity. So when we say, what is it supposed to do in the mind? It does many things simultaneously. When it's made correctly, it's a very sophisticated kind of cultural technology. Yeah. But I'd really say that hopefully, done correctly, utilized correctly, it is beyond mind. It moves us on a more profound level than mind. I think mind is useful for describing our experience, for deciding what to do about our experience. Okay. But hopefully that transmission that happens with the art, when the art is empowered, when it's inspiring, when it has that juice, that's beyond and below mind.
Maybe it's a journey from mind to beyond mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, we start mentally as humans, we say, oh, let me look at that thing. Yeah. But hopefully we have an experience that is beyond even what we could have hoped for. Some of my spiritual teachers have said, like, be careful asking for things from God, because you might get them. Better that you turn it over to God and say, please help me resolve these issues in a way that you think, that you know with your divine intelligence. Yeah. So you might even get something beyond what you could have imagined possible, more than you even thought you could deserve. Right? And this is the whole idea, is to invoke that divine intelligence that's even beyond this little thinking contraption that's stuck on this body right here.
That's quite relevant information, especially those who are new to sacred art, or most of us would have come across these kinds of art, but we never thought about the whole journey, the inner practice that you mentioned that goes into it, you know. So that's quite relevant information on the very first intro question, what is sacred art?
Well, I think Also, modern people tend to think of art as inspiration, right? As personal expression and inspiration.
Okay.
That art should inspire me emotionally.
Yeah.
And we have lost this deep knowledge that it is actually functional, that it serves, it's a yantra device, that it serves to shift our awareness.
Okay, that brings me to the next curious question there. That is, what is yantra?
Okay, so my understanding of the word yantra is that yantra just means device. So your phone is a yantra, an auto is a yantra. But when people use the word yantra, usually what we're speaking about is a ritual device for invoking divine power. Most yantras.
It's a medium. You mean it's a medium?
It's a ritual device. It could be a medium. It can be used that way. Some people say, is it a portal? It could be that way.
Kind of a ritual machinery too.
It is a mechanism for holding power.
Wow.
My guru would say the basis of all ritual magic is focused attention. So the yantra is an attention focusing device. So your attention, your Icha Shakti gets focused, and the energy that you invoke in that ritual gets held in space and time within this device. It's like a pot, it's a container. So you invoke through your devotion, through the precision of your mantra, you invoke that divine channel divinity, and then the yantra serves to keep you from losing that, because we get so easily distracted. And so it is a mechanism it is a pita, a seat. It is a seat of power that holds that specific ritual or that specific divinity in a specific configuration so that we can interact with it.
That's beautiful. So I've read that you're planning to visit one of the Shakti Pithas.
Yes.
The cradle of Tantra
So
in
they
India,
say.
that is Kamakhya temple.
Yes.
So you're going to lead that team, I heard. So
Yes.
could you please say more elaborate on that particular pilgrimage you're going to take up here to Kamakhya?
I hope that we get people from around the world to come. And I hope we also get people from India to come. The beauty of India that many people don't realize, because when you grow up with something, you take it for granted. The beauty of India is not that India has more powerful places than other parts of the world. There are places of power on every continent, in every part of the world. The beauty of India is this uninterrupted spiritual practice that has been done at these places for thousands of years, perhaps even tens of thousands of years. So Kamakhya Peeth is a temple that was built over a rare natural phenomenon, a freshwater spring that runs red for a week every year.
Yeah.
So you get fresh water coming from the earth from a cleft between two rocks that looks like a yoni, like a female vulva.
Yeah.
And it runs red for a week every year, just like Menses. Like, how is that not a goddess shrine? I'm sure that this has been a site of goddess worship since before historical times.
Yeah.
It's got to be incredibly ancient. And it's had this uninterrupted worship now. So this place of natural power has been groomed and cultivated and persuaded and venerated for thousands of years, and it has helped to orient this natural power, this place of natural beauty, of this phenomenal event that happens like clockwork every year, a natural miracle. And it's been oriented through these many thousands of years of sadhana towards our human experience. So it's easier for us to interact with it than, say, a phenomenal spring in Antarctica or some other continent. This has had thousands of years of amazing practitioners coming and practicing at this place. It's not, in my opinion, and I know I may offend some people, I don't think that it is more powerful than, say, Wakula Springs in Florida. Wakula is amazing. What is incredible about Kamakhya Peeth is it's like it has to some degree been awakened to itself. It understands itself as a goddess, and we get to interact with it as a goddess, as a tangible appearance of Shakti in the world. And in this sense, it is perhaps the most powerful, like for us as humans, it is the easiest place for us as humans to experience the divine energy of the Mother Goddess in our human realm, in this physical realm of human consciousness. I believe that it is the most powerful goddess temple in the world, bar none. And what's beautiful about this is that the many thousands of years of dharmic practices that have been done here has oriented this place so that it can interact with us, we can interact with it as Ma. That it can express this blessing power of Ma into our human realm of experience in a way that I don't think is possible anywhere else on the planet.
Oh. So when is this journey, this pilgrimage planned?
It is planned in November of this year, 2025. And people should check out Mystic Art Retreats, the website, for more information.
Please do check it out, because it would be a lifetime opportunity.
And I should say, it's not just me. I'll be teaching Sri Yantra. We'll be doing practices. We'll be visiting all of the other shrines on the hill.
Okay.
But also the very well-known tantric scholar Tuva Olsen from Sweden will be co-teaching with me. And she's an expert on the Dashmahavidyas. So it's going to be educational, it'll be spiritual, it'll be creative, it'll be relaxing. It's going to be a truly, I'll give you another example.
Yeah.
Part of what's really unique about Kamakhya Peeth is it's not just a single isolated temple. It exists in a mandala of temples, a natural set of phenomenon on the land. There are many temples on the hill, each for a different wisdom goddess, and they should be approached in a specific sequence to help you process your karmas. And even before that, because the experience is so powerful, they say you should go first to Shiva. So there's an island in the middle of the Brahmaputra River, the island of peacocks, where Umeshwara sits, right? Where Shiva went to mourn Sati, if you know the story, after her body, her pieces came to the earth. And he went there to meditate and mourn her. And he wanted to sit with a view of her yoni, right? Of the primordial yoni, to contemplate, this beauty that he was married to. And so they say that you go to Umeshwara first so you can have the non-attachment, the equanimity, before you meet all these Shaktis with all these potent powers and the way that they invoke these old latent karmas within your own subtle body. By going to Shiva first, you'll have that non-attachment and that equanimity so you don't get yanked around. Because Kamakhya, literally, she is the goddess of desire. That's her energy, that's the Shakti of the place. So you don't want to get your own desires fired up and get hypnotized and get distracted from your goal by the old, buried, hidden, denied desires that you've never dealt with. By going to Shiva first, we can have a certain, when these phenomena arise, when the emotions arise, we don't have to be shanghai, carjacked. We don't have to have our mind yanked away from us. We can maintain a certain amount of sobriety in the face of all of this beauty and power.
That gracefully leads you from that point.
Yes. So we'll actually be taking people through a specific sequence, so even the visit itself becomes a spiritual practice.
How many days are you planning it for?
It'll be 11 days.
Oh, 11 days. Okay.
Yeah, 10 goddesses in 11 days.
Wow. So do join that pilgrimage. Could you please repeat that site where they can get
that is Mystic Art Retreats. Just look up Mystic Art Retreats, one word, it'll come right up. And you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you.